And welcome back into a brand new episode of Pitstop Pals here on the Reality Realm Network. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
I'm Kevin Oliver, and we are ready for our next leg on the race around the world.
Yes, we are.
Amazing Race 25, Episode 7. What'd you think, Bruce?
This was a fun one. We're finally when he started the episode talking about Morocco, I'm like, oh geez, are we in for a third episode in the same country? But it
Yeah,
wasn't. We started where we left off last time, and then we went to Sicily, which is in Italy. So this was fun. It was a fun episode.
definitely. I agree. So let's get right into it. Like Bruce said, we left from Casa something or another in Karesh, Morocco, where Jim and Misty were the first to leave, first to depart at 9:44 p.m., finding out that they were going to be going to Palermo, Sicily. And so they got a hold of the travel agents and they found out that the earliest that they could arrive in Sicily was the next night at 8 p.m. That's a long time from that's almost 24 hours from when they started this leg.
Yeah, it's wild. 8 p.m. at night is a long time from where they were.
Yeah, so it's going to be basically living in the airport for almost 24 hours. And I just realized that before we go any further, do you have any quotes, Bruce, from the episode?
I do not. Do you?
None at all?
I wasn't listening for them this time. I forgot.
Okay, well, this first one I have isn't really a quote, but it was just Robbie and Brooke complaining about how they couldn't go on social or were missing social media and the gym,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of funny. I also thought it's funny that the bicyclist wrote "Team No Fun" on Jim and Misty's car.
I did have that as a note. That was funny. All the time those two teams spent together was hilarious.
For sure. And then I have a couple actual notes. This one was from Brooke and Robbie. Robbie said, "I want pizza," and Brooke's comment was, "You just had pizza," and Robbie said, "But we're in Italy," and so I feel like that's something you would say, Bruce.
Well, yeah, if you're in Italy, you have to eat pizza and pasta.
I knew it. And then the other one was from the cyclist, and this was in reference to racing Jim and Misty to the pit stop.
What if we put pasta on top of pizza and like make it a topping? That could be
No,
something.
yeah, it could also kill you.
No.
Talk about a carb load.
Worth it. Spaghetti pizza. Let's make it a thing.
I'm not there for it. I love spaghetti. I love pizza. I'm not there for it, man. The other one, cyclist. Talking about the dentist, they said, let's hope the dentist have a flat tire or get cut off or stopped by a garbage truck.
Yeah. I love the kind of little rivalry we've developed between these two teams here.
Yeah.
That they're both like, yeah, we don't hate them. We just don't like them as much as everyone else. That's our biggest competition.
Well, I don't know. Kim and Allie kind of said they kind of hate them.
Well, yeah. I guess Jim and Misty said that. Like, we don't like them as much as we like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I actually wrote bicyclists don't like the dentist. So there you go. We were talking about it. But we see what?
Neither of these teams really like the other one, and like for half the episode, they end up traveling together.
Yeah, that's the thing. So the bicyclists and the dentist got on one flight, and the other four teams were on another flight. So when Jim and Misty and Kim and Allie first landed at 8 p.m. the next day in Sicily, they literally worked together, even though they don't like each other. They shared a taxi.
Yes, they did.
And the rest of the teams, they got there at 8:40, and they were all in separate taxis, yelling at their taxi drivers to keep passing each other. But anyway, they get their route info that they're going to be going to Villa Costanza, for their next clue. But for some reason, in Palermo, Sicily, finding a taxi is increasingly difficult.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was interesting. Some teams really had trouble finding a taxi driver.
Mm-hmm. But once they get to Villa Costanza, they find out that the first task of the day, the roadblock, is called on the fast track, and for this, they're going to be doing a go-kart race on the route of an old Italian road race called Partenza, and I have to do the race in 4 minutes and 7 seconds. And so the people who competed in this were Kim, Jim, Maya, TJ, Adam, and Brooke. What'd you think of on the fast track, Bruce?
This looks like so much fun, and the first heat was just Jim and Kim.
Yeah.
And at one point I wrote down a quote from Jim. If I
So you
didn't
did have quotes.
well, not like funny quotes. This is just a quote from Jim about the challenge. If I
Oh,
didn't make it on time, I wanted to make sure Kim didn't make it on time either.
I also wrote, I almost wrote that down as a quote.
I'm like, huh, interesting.
No,
This
I
is
think that's great strategy.
yeah. It's just funny to compare that that
Don't
to the
mind Bruce, he's
costume
just
challenge we
dying.
see later in the episode, where like we see two teams working together really closely to help each
Mm-hmm.
other out. It's
So
just,
who do you think? Who do you think we would send on this roadblock, Bruce?
I want to do it. That looks like fun.
I want to do it as well, but I'll let you have it since I did the high up one last time.
Yeah, you did. Thankfully, that was also a win for me. That I didn't have to do that.
So I'll let you have this, even though it looks like a lot of fun. And you would probably fail, and then I'd be mad at you.
But then I get to do it again and have more fun.
Yeah, then we get last place.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
want
that's true.
to. So every team except for Maya finished on their first try. Maya completed her first lap around, which she was doing by herself at a time of 4 minutes and 32 seconds. 25 seconds too long. But she come back around and did it with the other three teams behind her, and all of them passed that time, with Brooke having the best time of the day, finishing with 22 seconds left on the clock.
She killed it.
She really did. And so everybody gets done with that challenge, and then we get to the detour. And in this detour, we have painters and posers. And for painters, they had to go restore an old painting while they were lying on their back on high up scaffolding. We later find out only 4 teams can do this challenge. While in posers, they have to go to an opera house and they have to listen to these opera singers do certain operas, some of the most popular operas, and then they go to a separate room and identify the costumes of the opera singers in order on a piece of paper, and those costumes have the name of the singer and the name of the song, and so they have to write all that down on a piece of paper and get it in the correct order. Otherwise, they have to restart. Bruce, I just realized you have your mermaid dragon shirt on.
Yeah, I do. With this challenge, though, it's easier than I thought it was going to be. When he was first explaining it to us, I thought they had to like remember the name of the song also. I didn't realize that stuff was written on the costume. And I'm like, oh, geez, I can't do either of these. I'm bad at drawing and painting, and I don't know Italian to remember these song names. But they don't have to remember the song names. They just have to remember the costume, and the song name is written on that. So this one's easier than I thought it was at first.
Yeah, I definitely would have gone for posers. I would have punched you until you agreed.
I wouldn't have cared because I feel like I'm not going to be super helpful at either. But now that I know it's just memorizing the costumes, I can do that.
And the interesting thing about this was the first 5 teams to get to the clue. All actually, I guess five. I'm just gonna say 5 of the 6 teams that got to the clue wanted to go paint. We find out only 4 can do it. The only people that went straight for posers was the wrestlers. The bicyclist and Dennis got to painters without a problem. Then the surfers and the scientists and Tim and TJ were all racing to be the first team or to make it to painters so that they could compete. And the surfers and the scientists got there first, but Tim and TJ caught up on foot and beat the scientists upstairs to the actual painting room. So the scientists had to end up going back to posers, which actually ended up in their favor.
It did. And they did good at posers. And on posers, I love the teamwork of seeing Amy and Maya and Brooke and Robbie working together also. I love seeing this.
Yes, it was. They did
love seeing
very
teams work together and for the betterment of both.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke and
Absolutely.
Robbie did say, "Hey, you get checked first," which wasn't they regretted immediately, but
Yeah, it wasn't very smart of them, but you know what? It happened. But Jim and Misty were the first people done with the detour because they were also the first people that started the detour. And we find out that we are now racing to the pit stop of leg 7, which is Villa Nishemi. And then, so they start going to the pit stop, and Kim and Allie get done, and they start going to the pit stop. They're very close together, and that's when we get that quote that I talked about earlier about how Kim and Allie want something to happen to Jim and Misty's vehicle so that they can beat them. It didn't happen. Jim and Misty are the first people there. We find out from Phil Kogan that we are at the 300th leg of the Amazing Race, where Jim and Misty get first place and win a 5-night trip to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. I've been to Ocho Rios, Jamaica.
You have?
Yes, I have.
Why didn't you bring me?
I didn't know you yet.
Why not? That's your fault.
No, I don't think that's my fault.
Well, probably not, but I already said it, so.
I've been there. I've went swimming at the beach there, and I've gone shopping in the markets there in Ocho Rios.
Nice.
And I ate at the Burger King in Ocho Rios too.
Did you get one of those like hats with like the red and the yellow and the green on it that they put on the Jamaican bananas at Six Flags?
I actually have a hat like that. I'll have to break that out sometime.
I was not expecting you to say yes. I was expecting you to roll your eyes at me for that question and the way I asked it. But that's awesome that you have one.
And it has braids on it too.
Well, naturally it does.
By the way, speaking of hats, this is my SEC hat.
Nice.
Given to me by the one and only Tal Henderson.
Nice. He's great. I miss him.
Yes, what a man.
Probably the best pool player I know, but
thanks. Wow.
Okay, but last time I saw you in person, Tal beat you. So
I also beat Tal.
Yeah, but I'm ignoring that part.
Of course you are. After we find out that Jim and Misty win and get to go to Ocho Rios, Kim and Allie show up right after them, taking second place.
Yeah.
And then the cameras shoot back to posers, where, like you said, the wrestlers and the scientists are working together, where they finish Amy and Maya first, and then Brooke and Robbie second. Brooke and Robbie are mad because they think that they're going to be the first and second team, not the third and fourth team, and they could have just given up first place.
Yeah.
And then I wrote here that being slow actually worked for Amy and Maya because Tim and TJ are regretting their decision to go to painting.
Yeah, Tim and TJ and Adam and Bethany, they struggled with painters, man. Those two teams were there for a while.
Yes. And they finished in the order of Adam and Bethany and then Tim and TJ with the painters eventually. But back to the pit stop, Amy and Maya are in third. The
Yeah.
wrestlers in fourth. Adam and Bethany in fifth. And coming up in sixth place, we have Tim and TJ, the college sweethearts, where Phil says you've finished in sixth place. But fortunately for you, this is the non-elimination leg, and sometime in the next episode, you will face a speed bump before you can keep competing with the rest of the teams, but you are still alive in this game.
Yeah, and that's another one. I don't remember writing it down, but Tim and TJ said a quote there when Phil said about the speed bump is, "Oh, if the dentist can do it, we can do it."
Yeah, I heard that
Not
too.
necessarily. They're a lot stronger at this game than you guys are. So just because they did it doesn't exactly mean you can't. I hope they can. I like Tim and TJ, but that doesn't mean anything that another team did it, so we can't. That other team is better than you guys. I hate to tell you, but
If Tim and TJ ever hear Bruce say that, it's okay. You can slap him.
I feel like they'd agree with me that Jim and Misty are a much stronger team. That's kind of not. That's objective at this point.
They do have 4 wins under their belt, to be fair.
And a few of the ones they didn't win, they were second. So
yeah. So that was it for this episode recap. Do you have anything else from the episode
are we
before we go
ranking
into
people?
power rankings? Yes, I said before we go into power rankings. Anything to add from the episode?
Oh, well, I cut you off before you said going into power rankings.
That's not my fault.
Well, it's not mine.
Actually, it is.
That doesn't mean I have to claim responsibility for it.
Actually, it does.
It means I should, but there's no way of making me.
I'll call your mom.
Okay. No, I don't. This was. Oh, I do. The View, because after the go-kart race,
Yeah.
they got to pick a car and were just driven by this chauffeur on this Italian hillside.
And it wasn't just any chauffeur.
What?
It wasn't just any chauffeur. They were actual professional race car drivers.
That's what it was. But the view, right, driving along this hillside was very cool.
It was. I enjoyed that as well.
I could eat some spaghetti pizza riding along, looking at that view.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I actually kind of want to try to make this now. I feel like I could.
All right. Let me know how it goes.
I mean, it seems simple. Boil the noodles, get a pizza crust, put sauce, put the noodles on the pizza crust, put it in the oven. Well, cheese.
All right, Bruce. This is your homework for next week is to make spaghetti pizza and try it and give us a full review on next week's episode of Pitstop Pals.
I might. On iCarly, they did
spaghetti tacos.
Spaghetti tacos. I legitimately could make that. That'd be easier than the pizza. But
no, you said pizza. You're gonna do it. There's no might. You have to do it now.
Okay.
Okay. You've heard it here, folks. Anyway, there's a beautiful segue into power rankings. Bruce, who do you have in sixth place this week?
They're very up and down, and now they have a speed bump to do along with being very inconsistent. I unfortunately do think Tim and TJ go next episode unless we get like we did with Kaylin and Haley, where they just get 2 straight non-elimination legs. I like Tim and TJ. I don't see them being strong enough or consistent enough to get past a speed bump and pass another team as well.
I doubt that there'll be any more non-elimination legs this season, as we've already seen 2.
Yeah.
But I actually have Amy and Maya in sixth.
They moved up the pack this week. How did they move down in your rankings?
They didn't move down in my rankings.
You're right. Never mind.
Yeah, they stayed the same. They moved up the pack, but it was by accident. Like if they would have gotten to painting before Tim and TJ, they would be the ones getting a speed bump right now.
We
I'm
don't know
confident
how
in saying
good
that.
they would or wouldn't have done on painting, though.
They would not. I'm confident. That is my prediction. We got to be bold in these things. I believe that if Amy and Maya would have gotten there in the same place that they left the previous challenge, that they would be the ones with the speed bump next episode.
Get the time machine. Make it happen. Let's find out.
Yeah. So that's my sixth place team. What about you? What do you got fifth?
In fifth place, my instinct was to go Adam and Bethany just because of finishing order, and they've kind of not been as good the last couple episodes as they started off. But we've seen how strong they can be. So I think I'm gonna go Brooke and Robbie here, actually, because they're strong with challenges, but they tend to make just little mistakes, like, oh, you guys get checked first, and then they realize, oh, that cost us a finishing spot. Like, what if those had been the last two teams and they didn't know it, and they just could have finished last based off of that little mental error?
I have Tim and TJ in fifth.
Oh no, I meant to put Tim and TJ.
You had them in. No, you had Tim and TJ in sixth.
Oh, I did say then. Okay, good.
You're a dork.
The non-elimination threw me off. I'm used to not including the team that finished last.
Yeah. I have them in fifth. They are, like you said, very inconsistent. With the speed bump doesn't help anything. But I don't know. I think they have a little more value still than Amy and Maya.
Yeah. I think Amy and Maya they started off getting almost no edit in the last episode.
I still haven't seen that much of one.
We've been seeing a little bit more the past couple episodes, and they seem to be getting better the last couple episodes. So I'm intrigued to see where they go.
Dude, they literally got second to last week.
I mean, on the challenges, I don't know.
You can't do that much better on the challenges if you finish worse.
I mean, the teams around them are still doing what they do, but we're seeing more of them. I like what we're seeing from them. I don't think they're going home next week.
Okay. What do you got in fourth?
Them.
Okay. I have Adam and Bethany in fourth.
Yeah.
They've just been struggling a little bit more, and I can't, in my own opinion, put them above any of the teams I've left.
Agreed.
What about third for you?
It's Adam and Bethany. They've struggled a lot. They've struggled more the past couple episodes than they did the first 3 episodes. But we know how good they can be when they're at their best. And so they kind of just have to find that rhythm again, and I think they'll be fine.
That's fair. For me, third place was Brooke and Robbie. I think that Brooke and Robbie's stock has been climbing every week for me. And I think that one mental error is not going to be that detrimental.
Yeah. It probably won't. I don't know.
You needed an excuse to put them where you did.
I mean, partially, but also, like, if that does happen again when there's less teams, that could be a bigger mistake than it was this time.
Right, but I don't think it will happen again now that it happened this time.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, it could be something else. Who knows?
What do you got number 2? I think we're going to actually agree on these top ones.
Kim and Allie are second for me. I like them more than Jim and Misty, but they've really turned it on the last couple episodes, but Jim and Misty have had it turned on the entire season, and other than like one episode, really haven't wavered at all. So Jim and Misty have to be 1 for me, and Kim and Allie are second, but it's close.
I agree. I put Kim and Allie in second place. They are my favorite team on this season, but when you look at Jim and Misty with 4 wins, that's hard to argue against. But I would also say what evens the gap a little bit is we've seen Jim and Misty at their best, but we've also seen them at their worst. And from what we've watched, their worst is worse than Kim and Allie's worst.
Yeah, but if their worst comes out, they have a get out of jail free card.
That's true.
What happens with that, by the way? Does the next to last team then go home, or does it just become a non-elim leg?
I think it would just become a non-elim leg.
I think so too. I just wasn't sure.
Well, because I don't think you could tell somebody they're the seventh and they're still racing and then say, actually, never mind.
Well, Survivor did it with the hourglass. You're immune. Oh, wait. No, you're not.
Yes, but that was before the end of the episode. Like it wasn't at
True.
the end of one clump. It was in the middle. Yeah. So that's my power rankings for this week. Bruce, have you stayed caught up with any other reality TV recently?
I mean, nothing's airing seasons currently.
That's not true. Just the stuff you don't watch is.
I've been binging Cobra Kai a lot lately because I'm trying to finish the first 5 seasons before the final season starts on the 18th. So I've been watching 3 or 4 episodes a night of that.
Yeah, you weirdo. Claim to Fame started this week, and it was pretty epic. The person who left was Robin Roberts' niece.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It was really cool. And Big Brother 26 starts this week. You gonna tune in?
Maybe. I started watching it last summer and watched like the first 2 weeks of it. Then I moved to school and got super busy and just lost track of it. So
Wait,
maybe
you don't have that excuse this year.
Yeah, it wasn't an excuse. The beginning of the semester was really busy and I just couldn't keep up with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't
Big
have that
Brother
excuse.
airs like 3 episodes a week. So, and that's wasn't even watching the live feeds. So, there's just so much more content to have to keep up with.
But it's good content.
Maybe. I'm not going to commit either way yet.
Shame. Also, you should check out The Mole.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say before we end this episode, Bruce?
No. Go check out Tribal Council Chat. New Era Challenge podcast is coming out soon. Lots of cool content coming to you guys.
Yeah, and there was recently an interview with the one and only Abby Maria.
That was so fun.
She was
so nice to us, not only while recording, but we talked a little bit with her before and after recording. She was so nice. That was so much fun.
It was a really fun episode, so I encourage you to check that out if you haven't already.
Go! I did it.
Oh, man. Okay, guys. Good luck.
Stay safe.
Go!
Go!